what he does here is he goes through and tells you, I think he's very impartial the way that he presented. He's really objective. He goes through and he tells you basically what each translation is about. And, you know, it's pros and it's cons. And he also explains to you basically if you're looking at something that's a word-for-word translation or if it's something that's more like a commentary. Okay, paraphrased or whatever. All right? So this is a really fun book also that you might be interested in researching or having, or you may borrow mine. Okay? All right. And you can fight with all the other 65 students, right? Okay. All right. So that gets us started. Fun. I was so excited when the Lord gave me that little insight about the standard, and then in the middle of her teaching, out of nowhere, she opens the book and reads this verse right out of there, and it says, "Retain the standard of sound words." I just about wanted to jump right out of my seat and interrupt everything and teach a lesson myself, but that would be rude. So, all right. So what we are going to do tonight is we are going to go through each chapter one by one, and we are going to do just the bare basics. We are doing bare bones. We are not going into a lot of detail because we will do that later when it's time to go into the inductive work of each chapter. But right now what we want to do is just get a big picture of what's going on, so we're going to ask those most obvious questions, okay? All right, so I'm probably going to have to erase this board halfway through. All right, we'll start with chapter 1. All right, and I'm going to ask some really simple questions. We are going to ask, basically, I want you to, with every chapter, this is going to be repetitious. There's 3 basic questions we're going to answer together in class today for discussion. We want to know who are the main characters of each chapter. We want to identify them together. We want to basically discern when the accounts of each chapter have happened for the purpose of basically seeing the chronological order of each of the chapters. We want to see how are they unfolding. Are they in order and so forth, okay? And we also want to know what are the main events. And from the main events, we are going to then title each of our chapters, which is called a theme. When you give something a theme, look for its major theme. You're looking for the thing that is most prevalent, repeated the most, or is the major emphasis. Anytime you're in a book of history, you're going to be looking at major events, major people, and the timelining of them, okay? So that's what we're going to do tonight, right now. When you did your homework this week, you did talk about, or look, she was asking you the question about the type of literary work that you are in. Now, it became pretty obvious that we're in a history book, right? It's a historical book. What was the secondary type, though? It has a dual theme to it. The other is prophetic. So there is prophecy and history in this book. Now, this is the trick about knowing that. And it's really good, because I'm going to remind you of this on a regular basis, but when you have a book that has a double literary style like this, you're going to have to be very careful as you're entering or progressing through your book, that you discern when the change is made, so that you use appropriate interpretation according to its literary style. Now, when we hit something that is historical, when we're looking at things that are historical, how would we interpret those? Literal interpretation. These are the facts. It happened here, it happened, these were the people, and this is maybe even why. Sometimes we'll even tell you why. So you're going to be looking for who